The game today, Keith,
Yes.
is another heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker.
The Last of Us. Originally came out on the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
It got remastered for the PS4, and then it got remade for the PS5, which I honestly didn't really notice that much of a difference. I mean,
Okay, I didn't play the PS5.
graphically, yeah,
Of course, but
and there was probably like some other subtle things, but I also haven't played the PS3 version in a while. So
correct. Yeah, it's been like a decade since a literal decade since I've played the first one.
Yeah, it came out in 2013.
Yeah.
Developed by Naughty Dog.
Mm-hmm.
Naughty Dog has released some bangers.
Absolute bangers.
I mean, you've got Crash Bandicoot.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't love Crash Bandicoot?
Who doesn't? Me. No, I love some Crash. I love some
That'd be
Crash.
some fists thrown. Jak and Daxter.
Bingo!
Now,
That's my one.
I've only ever played the first one.
Oh my goodness. The first one's incredible. You're the youthful Jax and Daxter. Like, it's a lot of fun. But, it's great with the two beyond that. It's darker and darker. They're adults. Well, he's an adult.
They've always been on my list to play, like, ever since the PS2. All of my friends played those games for the PS2, like, when we all had PS2s. But, unfortunately, I just missed the boat.
How?
And then I got the collection somewhere down there.
Okay, yes.
For the PS3, which I love when they do those because it's fantastic. But I played the first one, and then I think I played it on my Vita, to be honest.
Oh, okay, the Vita. Oh, I forgot the Vita was a thing. I only had the PSP.
Yeah, so that was just a series I missed, and Naughty Dog also made another franchise that was incredibly loved by every person that's ever played it, the Uncharted series.
You know what's crazy? I have had so many friends tell me you would love the Uncharted series. I have it's one of them I've just missed the boat.
Andy's coming over here
He's
to choke out
over.
Keith.
Bro, no. I have no malcontent to not play them. I want to. I even bought one of them. I still haven't played it. I've heard they're incredible, life changing. That makes
So
it worse.
to make you feel better, Keith,
Okay.
I've only beat the first one.
All right. Just like Jak and Daxter.
Because every time I've gone to play them, when I would go to play it, something else came out that just
Fair enough.
pulled me away.
Fair enough, my man.
So, and
I'll let you go on that one.
What's crazy about the Last of Us and coming out in 2013, it got remastered for the PS4 in 2014, so a year after
Yeah,
that
exactly.
it came out, which, I mean, probably for the better because it came out at pretty much the end of the PS3's life cycle.
Yes.
The very end. And it was a brand new IP. This was before, like, there was just a ton of new IPs and they all just tank.
Right.
Because people are just rushing out games and stuff like that. This is a game that would truly... they took their time. They took the proper amount of time, made sure it was great, and it is an absolute masterpiece.
Agreed. And for me, it was an unexpected experience. One of my best friends, it was months after it came out. When it came out, I actually had called him. And I was like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" Because this was a decade ago.
Yeah.
A lot less responsibility in your early 20s.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm in line at GameStop." And I was like, "For what?" And he was like, "The Last of Us." I was like, "Last of Us?" I was like, "Yeah, I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it." He was like, "Dude, you've got to get it." And I was like, "Okay." Months go, no, maybe weeks or months. I can't recall. It's been so long, but some time goes by. I purchased this game just not knowing, just knowing that one of my best friends who I trust, with suggestions on a good game, I purchased it, and it was game of the year for me.
100%.
And I was already playing games that I fell in love with, and this just overarched everything else that I had played.
Yeah,
that
I
entire
mean,
year.
I remember seeing this being advertised in like the Game Informer magazines that I would get with my GameStop membership and stuff like this back then. And I remember seeing this and seeing like the commercials for it. I was like, I have to get that.
Yes.
So this was a day one purchase for me, which is funny because I bought this and I got the DMC Devil May Cry.
Okay, yes.
I thought it was like a remake, but it wasn't.
Oh.
But I remember this is the game I played first, and oh my god!
And it's funny you say, like, I literally knew nothing about it to the point, like, I was in college at the time, so I wasn't playing games as often. Plus, I wasn't really watching cable. I didn't have cable at the time, and so I knew nothing about this game. And to go into something so immense and just so emotionally stirring. I mean, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I mean, this game was just one of those games that comes by every once in a while, and it just
changes the game.
And I mean, it sold 6 million copies in its first year.
That's right. And then overall, what, like 17?
17 million to date across the platforms. Now, I feel like like the game's still well loved, but it's kind of put a bad taste in people's mouth with the remake, with the part 1 for it, because like it came out, they charged full price for it.
Oh wow, okay.
The PC version had bugs galore, so PC players were robbed. Absolutely robbed on that remake. And I think they still might be having issues with it even now.
That's insane.
And another thing is the thing that everybody loved even more than the story of this game wasn't in part 1. The multiplayer.
Yes. There was a game where, so when I played through it and then started playthrough number 2, because it was just like, give me more.
Yeah.
I didn't want to touch multiplayer, and I eventually did. And because I thought it was going to be janky, awful, terrible. Andrew wasn't, and then I eventually did, and I was like, you need to get on this.
Yeah. Someone I knew was big into the multiplayer, and I mean, big into the multiplayer. I tried, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really care for it.
In the beginning, it's funny, I didn't really care for it either, but then I fell in love with it because it had all of the same, crafting, all the same components from the main game, and you just had these different modes, so it didn't. I don't know, just the way it flowed, the way it was with the various with combat.
What is that going on?
That's
there?
Our children. That is our children. That's being
oh my gosh.
dads of only
it's
one of them. It's
driving me nuts. Whatever it is. It's
I just
literally
block it out.
I can't.
I have two children.
I
So
can't
that's why
block that out.
I'm
That's
able to
just
block
like
it out.
Ear piercing. Holy
But anyway,
moly.
Go ahead.
I don't even know where we were at. The multiplayer.
Yeah, the multiplayer. Yeah, it fell off for you, but no, I love the multiplayer. I didn't play it for years and years, but I played it for a good bit. And then I tired of it.
The thing I didn't like about it was like just how it, like, if you couldn't like keep up with it, like you got reset.
Oh,
like your settlement like fell, and then you had to start back over.
Yes.
Like I didn't.
That
really,
I did not like. That I did not like at all either. I agree with you there.
Yeah, I don't know what about it, but I didn't really like it.
Yeah, I would stay up playing that for hours into the night. But no, I agree. It was it had its greats, but it had some severe drawbacks. Where I still remember the one time when my settlement finally fell. I was just like, I'm done.
The thing that I did think was really cool is like you could connect it to your Facebook, and it would pull in your Facebook friends like into your settlement, so it'd be like actual people you knew showing up with like their little profile pictures next. And I was like,
really
that's
cool. That's a
that's
neat little
pretty
tidbit.
cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. That was a cool little feature that they did. But so I mean, this was set the story. Let's get into the story.
Yes.
Post-apocalyptic, United States. The cordyceps taking over, like turning people into like these crazy looking creatures,
Very,
and
like zombified. You have different levels of
clickers,
infection, clickers.
What were the big huge things? Were they in the first one?
Yeah. There was I forget what they were called. I just call them bloaters. I don't know. But
I don't remember what they were called.
I don't remember what they're
they
called.
They were like the big ones that I remember it in part 2, but I don't remember it in part 1. But maybe they were in part 1.
But no, one of the things that I loved though was that with the cordyceps virus, it wasn't just all right. They're zombified, just flesh-eating, brain-eating zombies. No, like their intent was as a cordyceps fungus.
Yeah.
Was to spread as far and wide as possible. So it was more real. It wasn't steeped in fantasy.
That's another thing about the story that makes it so good is like it's a like technically like a reality.
Yes,
like
it feels too real.
It
like
feels like this could actually happen at some point.
Right. I mean, with the right science and research and genetics.
Yeah.
I mean, just saying.
And it's the two main characters, some of the best characters that I have ever witnessed in a video game.
So unexpected.
The level of just like character growth, the emotion, the relationship. You get to watch it build over time during your game, your playthrough, and it is so like, especially as a dad.
Exactly.
Like this game hits you even harder if you're a dad.
Yes. Especially now because when it first came out, 10 years ago I wasn't a dad.
Yeah, exactly. Neither was I. Yeah.
And so now I'm playing part 2, thanks to you lending me your copy. I just barely started it, but yeah, now replaying as a dad, it hits home, especially in the beginning.
Oh,
if you haven't played, spoiler, skip a couple seconds. But when Joel and his daughter's about to make it, and then she's shot. That from the narrative hook from the beginning, it wasn't just that shit's hit the fan. It
pulled me in immediately.
I was like, she is dead. Like, it's over. I was just like,
and
wow.
like the way that they did it too. It wasn't just instantly dead. It was just like he got to realize it. He crawls over to her in this panic, and
just watches her as
his brother's there, and he's saying, Joel, like, we gotta go.
Yes.
And he's holding his daughter, who's
daughter.
just bleeding out.
Yes.
And it is heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. It's hard. Like, he literally watches his daughter, the light leave her eyes. And it's not just like, oh, this was just, in a hospital bed or at home and in peaceful time. Like, no, you have to leave and go.
Yeah.
Because from the beginning, I was like, okay, this is going to be a a father-daughter story of, surviving post-apocalyptic America, blah, blah, blah. Not the case at all.
No. It all happens like it's so perfectly done because they're driving through the town, and like you don't expect it to go bad. You're like, okay, it's gonna get a little hectic, but they're gonna make it through.
Yeah.
And their truck wrecks, and they have to get out, and they're running. You're running through, and you're carrying her, and then you meet the soldier that's there, and he's talking to somebody on a headset, and he's like, okay, and you watch Joel be like, no, like, we're not sick, we're not sick.
Yeah.
And the guy says, like, it's a young kid and her dad or whatever, and you watch him just pull his gun up, and you're just like, and he's like, what's going on here? And then it happens, and then you get to just watch everything happen. It's so perfectly done.
It's so perfectly done. So well
that
done.
Scene just like. What's crucial in a game, especially nowadays, is like that first 15 to 20 minutes.
Absolutely.
What is going to happen in that first 15 to 20 minutes, or maybe even the first hour? Something big has to happen, and it has to just grab
pull you in, draw you in emotionally.
And that happens in the very beginning.
And then a lot of times, then it's just a decent game throughout, or a good game, or a really good game.
Yeah.
But no.
The hits keep on coming for this one.
Exactly. Period. Yes.
It's the story. I mean, so Ellie, who he meets later down the road, it jumps in time a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and Joel's working. He's like in this like camp settlement area, and him and
The
this woman
military
Tess
zone.
are like trying to. They're trying to get out of the settlement.
Yeah, you have to try to get out of the settlement and what have you, because like he kind of like smuggles and runs missions illegally.
Yeah, and they sell stuff to like the guards and stuff, right?
Yeah, you have guard stuff to the guards, and then
and they're trying to get a battery.
Yeah, battery to get a car
to get the truck so that they can go out. So the task that he's been handed is to escort this girl Ellie to
Firefly
to Salt Lake City, from Boston to Salt Lake City, and
which is a trek.
I don't think that they don't tell him right from the jump about anything.
Not at all.
Anything.
Because the thing is, in the beginning, this is part of the beautiful story arc. I mean, the character arcs and the relationship. She was just a package to be delivered.
Yes.
For some coin.
Yeah, and she was a smart ass.
Yes.
To no end. Just
such
snarky comments, tough, just like no give, just sarcastic.
In a post-apocalyptic world with no parents, of course you're gonna.
Because she doesn't know her parents. She was raised in a settlement. She knows nothing else.
Exactly.
So they're escorting her. They have no idea, but they're taking on the task, and they come up to a checkpoint where they are getting scanned for infection. I'm probably getting my wires crossed here a little bit because I watched the show as well.
Right, the show, which was also amazing.
But I played this a couple months ago, I would say.
Yeah. But still, there's been a lot in between.
I might be getting my wires crossed with like the show and stuff. But like the show is pretty like hand in hand with the story.
Which really surprised me.
They're coming up with like they have to go and then. Or maybe Tess sees the mark on her arm where she got bit.
Right.
And she starts to freak out because she's like, what are we doing with this girl? Like, she's going to turn at any time. And she's like, no. Like, I'm not going to turn. I'm immune. Like,
that's the big moment.
This happened like a year ago or however long it happened.
And whatever that time jump is, which is significant.
Yeah.
For all this infrastructure to be placed. Joel's clearly aged.
Yes.
It goes to show that, like, there's not just a bunch of people that are immune.
Yeah. It's a death sentence if you get bit.
Yes.
That's it.
It's
lights out. You're going to turn. It's done. You're game over.
Yes.
So they start freaking out because they think that she's going to turn at any minute. And they, like, watch her like a hawk. And they are ready to just put a bullet in her head the minute anything starts to go awry. And she never turns. So, like... They're just like, okay. So when they scan her, like with whatever and test her, she comes up that she's infected.
Infected, right.
But for some reason, she just does not turn.
Right. Her brain has this immunity effect of the cordyceps and what have you.
Yeah. So they like realize like what they're doing and why they're escorting her here because they want to use her as research so that they can make a cure.
Yes.
So that way they can basically save the world.
Yes, all from a scruffy little girl.
Yeah.
Scrappy little girl who has the potential to be the cure to literally save the world.
So you play through and you watch Joel and Ellie just build this relationship because, as you play it, you get into, these situations where it's a bunch of clickers, it's a bunch of infected. You have to you narrowly escape and stuff like that, and Tess is along for the ride, but sadly she gets bitten.
Yes.
And she tells them to go, and she gets left behind. That's when they're in like the church.
Yeah, it's
thing.
like some kind of
cathedral type of thing.
Yes.
And there's some of the soldiers that are coming, and
that's the other thing. So it's not only the beauty of it is it's not just the dangers of the the infected. It's of the soldiers, and then it's also of a human threat. Whenever they run into those who are just bandits, thugs, and what have you.
You have like the main like militia type people. Then you've got
Yes.
like the outliers, like the fireflies
Yes.
and stuff like that. So you've got all these people that
Various
are just like
factions. Yes,
yeah,
just trying to
various
survive.
factions, and they're all like against each other. So you run into these people, and like you can't let them know what Ellie is.
Oh, absolutely not.
And you can't let them know that she's immune, because the minute they see that she was bitten, they're not gonna care.
Nope, they're just gonna.
They're
plow.
gonna kill
That's
her
it.
immediately.
Right.
So
So it's just so intense, so on edge the entire time.
Yes.
It's not just a simple escorting.
and you watch these situations happen, and there's a point where they get into a confrontation, and Joel gets stabbed.
Yes, just after leaving the university.
Yes.
Yes.
And when you're at the university, you get one of the most beautiful moments in gaming history when you see the giraffes.
yes,
That is absolutely beautiful.
amazing, beautifully constructed, and the beauty of it was so unexpected. Just to, wow,
You see like them roaming, and you see the other random little,
animals and creatures,
animals and stuff.
yeah, some wildlife.
just get to like roam, and you see the greenery and like
yes,
the buildings that are just overgrown,
Bro.
and it is
Gorgeous.
It is a scene and a half.
It is, my brother. It is. Because I remember even playing that, I was literally like jaw ajar.
Dude, when they did that in the TV series, that was just one of those moments where you're like you're the Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time, where he's just like,
Here I come.
Oh, yes, exactly. Yes. Wolf of Wall Street.
No, it was Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, okay. Oh, was it?
Yeah, because he's on the couch and his things coming up, and him and Cliff are in the
he goes,
in his house.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey!"
Oh, okay.
And he's
My
pointing to the TV.
My bad. I mix up my Leonardos.
I love that movie. That movie's so good.
Did I see? We're not going to go
Oh,
down
my
that
goodness.
path. Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
my
I
goodness.
have to think. I might have. But anyway.
But yeah, that scene, iconic for the game.
Incredible.
Absolutely
Incredible.
iconic. So you get to, she gets him to this like neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
They go like down into a basement. They're trying to hide. They don't want anybody to know. He's there. He's getting really sick. He's feverish. He's
gonna die.
They
he needs
don't have
antibiotics.
any medication. So
Right.
if she can't figure something out, he is going to die.
And she has to literally take the reins. And at that part too, you see her emotions towards Joel.
Yes.
Like because she's being, puts up the wall.
This is where their relationship switches like that.
Yes.
Because she goes out, she starts hunting for food, she meets these guys that are in a settlement,
Yes.
and they want to trade medication for the deer that she shot.
Yes.
So she then does that. She gets the medication to Joel.
Mm-hmm.
They come into the town looking for her.
Yes.
And she lures them away from the house because Joel's still like on the mend.
Yeah, he can't fight.
He's still out of it. He
incapacitated.
still can barely move. Then she lures them away. She gets captured.
Yes.
Joel has no clue.
No clue. He's literally laying there fighting for his life on a concrete floor.
So he finally gets up, gets his bearings and stuff, and realizes that Ellie's gone. And sees, when he gets outside, there was a bit of, there's tracks,
Scuffle.
stuff like that.
Yes.
So he, you trail on as Joel. You are out looking for Ellie. You come across these guys that are from the settlement, and that's where you see Joel's relationship with Ellie. His feelings now
Yes.
come to the surface because
Because
he
protect her very fatherly.
he goes
yeah,
dark very quick.
very quickly because it shows his protectiveness. He
He has these two dudes, and one of them's just like tied to a chair, and one of them just got beaten to death.
Yes.
And he goes up to the guy and he's like, where is the settlement? Where do they have her? And the guy's like, I don't know. And he stabs him in the leg, and like
Because you feel the desperation in
you
him.
can like it is It's dark.
Like your heart's pumping.
You are on edge. You're just like, oh
come on,
gosh.
tell him. Yeah, don't shoot him, Joel. You need the information, you know.
And as soon as the guy draws the circle on the map, and the guy's like, "You're gonna spare me, right?" And he goes, "No, I got what I needed." Boom, and just done. So that's where you get to see how their relationship now is well beyond just a package being delivered.
Exactly.
It's now basically a father-daughter thing. So now you're Joel, you're going to save Ellie. You get to the settlement. She's in a scuffle with this crazy dude.
Batshit crazy guy who's like to the point where it's like if she's not saved, questionable things are going to happen.
Yeah. So and then you get to experience that with Ellie. That's like a boss battle, so to speak.
Right, exactly.
So, and that's something that Ellie didn't really get to experience the world and how dark it can be.
No, not at all, and how savage people can be.
So when that happens, Joel comes in and he grabs her and holds her, and he's just like, "It's okay, I've got you." And that's when he calls her baby girl.
Baby, is it the first time? I thought it was, but I couldn't remember. Oh my gosh! Because when he said that, oh my gosh, tears.
Yeah,
that hit
that's
me
when
so
that's
hard.
when they really just
bond or connected.
Show you these two have now bonded
yes,
to something very, very big and very, very real.
And with that bond comes what the choice at the end, the choice. At
yes.
the conclusion.
So they get to where they're going.
Spoiler alert.
They get to where they're going. They are willing to, let them test
her, go through the surgery.
Then Joel finds out that if they run these tests, she dies.
Yes.
Joel's not having any of that.
Not at all. He walks away, though, and he's like, okay. And then he realizes, no. Even if it's to save humanity as a whole, he wants his pseudo-daughter.
Joel ain't having none of that. He wipes the place clean.
The entire place. There's this Firefly militia there. And then what hit home for me is when she's on the table and he busts in. The doctor grabs the scalpel.
And just completely scared to death.
Yes.
Joel shows no remorse.
No remorse. This man's like, wow, we're about to save the world. And he just
straight up just kills him, not even a second thought.
No.
And you can watch the nurses and stuff that were in there. Just he picks her up, and they're just like, we don't want any part of what you're doing.
Right.
Take her. Go ahead.
Go.
And he's leaving the hospital or whatever, and that's when Marlene, I think her name was.
Oh, I think so. Oh, yeah, the final confrontation with her.
Yes. She's basically like, no, Joel, you're not leaving here with her.
Right. And
Joel, she has a gun on Joel, and then you hear a shot, and it's dark.
Yes.
And you're just like, what just happened?
Right.
And then it cuts to somebody driving. If I'm remembering correctly, it cuts to a truck driving. It pans up to Joel, and you're just like, what's going on?
What's happening?
What is this? And then you see Ellie wake up in the back, and you're like, okay,
cool.
So he left.
Yes.
All right. Still a little unsure of what happened.
Yes, you're still on edge.
And
because you don't even know when the game's ending.
He doesn't tell Ellie the truth.
Not at all.
He lies to her.
And she knows it.
Yes. So he tells her, they did the thing. There was no cure. There's a couple other people like you.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah.
Turns out. Right.
So they're driving down the road, and they're, basically, getting to where they need to go. And it cuts back to that scene, and it shows Joel shot her, shot Marlene, and just drove off. And then you get to the end where it's Joel and Ellie says, she confronts Joel,
yes,
hey, is there something you're not telling me? And he's like,
no.
There's
this beautiful scenery in the background as well. And it's just emotional because, he did the right and wrong thing.
Yeah.
He could have single-handedly been a part in saving the world, yet he wanted to save this child's life.
Yep. And then that's when it ends. So, like,
Oh,
that ride of just, like, the very beginning, Joel's a very tough, hardened individual.
rigid, yes.
He
You're
watched his
nothing to
own
me.
child die in his arms.
Yes.
And then is in basically a prison camp.
Right.
So, like, I don't know about you guys, but that would make me an asshole, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that would 100% make me a big old dick.
So, but then he gets to, he builds this relationship with this stranger.
Yes.
Who's his daughter's age.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
right
would have been his daughter's
yes.
age. And, you get to watch them build this relationship
It's
and watch
so
their characters become completely different people.
Entirely different. And there's just so much emotional complexity.
The
through
memories,
the whole journey.
The memories he says to her, like, about playing guitar and, like, watching her, like, remember little things like the arcade game when she played that, and, like, all these little things where
music was a huge bond with them.
She's, like, so, like, ignorant to the fact that the world used to be this way and now it's this way.
Yes.
Like, she's completely ignorant to that whole fact, and, like, it gives her that, like, that childlike feel because she doesn't know any better.
She doesn't know what it exactly.
So it really makes you look at Ellie like she is an absolute child.
Yes.
And you look at Joel like he's this hardened, like, dude, like, man's man.
Yes.
And you watch him just crumble to Ellie.
It's amazing.
And Ellie just, like, grows so fondly of Joel. Like, it just becomes this one giant...
It's just exactly. That's something that's so unexpected.
It's something
it's an emotional journey.
I've never experienced, like, that sort of, like, character growth or anything like that in a video game before this.
Exactly.
It was just absolutely incredible. It's not a long game either.
It's not. And the other thing is, we were speaking of emotions, but what couples with that beautifully are the gameplay mechanics.
Yes.
Which, we don't need to dive into, but with the crafting and the gameplay mechanics were just profound, perfect.
Yeah, what they did, like, with you get to, like, craft stuff, like, it makes it feel very real as you're navigating the world.
Mm-hmm.
You're navigating the world. You have these materials that you find that, nails, cans,
alcohol,
bottles,
rags.
You build, like, Molotov cocktails, like nail bombs, basically.
Yes.
And you get to, you find just regular guns. Nothing crazy, nothing
crazy, yeah,
overpowered.
Exactly.
Like, it's
limited ammo. You're not crafting ammo.
Yeah.
Not
so
a thing.
that just makes the game feel real.
It does, absolutely.
Which, again, like, that's something that keeps you involved in the game. It doesn't pull you out of it when you're just like, oh, I got a rocket launcher?
Right. I'm going to take these guys out. Right,
yeah.
right.
So, I mean, it's also, like, if I'm sitting down to play this game, I'm not going to play it in front of my kid.
Oh, absolutely not. It's
because
not something
it's
you play in front of your children.
Violent and it's brutal.
Brutal, yes.
It doesn't shy away from, showing someone get shot in the head.
Exactly.
It doesn't shy away from watching a bat with nails go into someone's skull.
Yes, or multiple throat slitting.
Yeah, like, it's dark, it's brutal, but that's what pulls you in and really, like, makes you feel how this world would feel if you were in it.
Dystopian dark world. And then the contrast of their relationship, that is the light and the hope. It's a beautiful balance.
Yeah, and
incredible.
Sound plays a very big
Huge
role. When you're
soundtrack.
Like, you use, like, your, like, the stick clicks or whatever, like your awareness or whatever.
Yes.
It's very, like, sound oriented because the clickers rely on sound.
And they click. They make a clicking sound.
Yes.
And when you're in a room with them and you do just make the wrong move,
or you make
and it's over.
you make a little bit more noise than you need to.
Exactly.
It's it's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be bad, and you're gonna die.
So that just adds to
the intensity
of the game and these situations, and it really makes you feel like you're there walking through this area with these unknown creatures, because you're sneaking and they're like from me to you away, and as long as you don't make any noise, you're getting away scot-free.
You're just fine.
But the minute you step on a little pile of glass and it makes a crunch noise,
it's over.
They know exactly where you're at.
Yes, exactly.
And they really played on that, which just added that extra layer into the game.
Yes.
So this game, it's not long. I think it takes like 10 to 15 hours, maybe.
Right?
Maybe not even that.
Much longer.
It can take you much
yes,
longer because there's a lot to explore. There's a lot to look at. And
it's still like a linear path, but there, it's not
it's
open
a lot
world.
to look at. I mean, you've got a lot of beautiful sights to see, a lot of things to explore and find, and like, you can get sucked in. Very quickly.
And speaking of getting sucked into it, this was one of those games where, like, if I knew, hey, I need to be presenting, a 20-page paper tomorrow.
Yeah.
I need to go to bed. This was one of those games where other games
couldn't.
I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna save it. I wouldn't. I'd be like, all right, hard stop at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
It's 2:30 in the morning. Well, might as well just finish this. Like, it captivated me in so many ways. Like we've said this whole time.
Yeah,
it's a must play.
Absolute must play if you haven't. You can get it I mean, the PS4 remaster is like $10.
Right.
The PS3 version's probably like $5.
Mm-hmm. And that's part of the reason I never the PS5 of Last of Us Part 1 I didn't buy it, because I was like, oh, okay, I saw full price. I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean,
played this game multiple times, but it is accessible now.
It is accessible. If I'm gonna recommend any version to somebody, I would just play Part 1 for the PS5. Just because, like, that's just what's current. If you like, something that's graphically pleasing, and especially in this kind of game, I mean, the graphics really do it
even for
justice.
The PS3 at the time, I was just mind blown, and then for the PS4, just mind blown by.
Yeah, so I would recommend picking up Part 1. If you don't want to spend that money, you're just as fine playing the PS3 or the PS4 version.
Exactly.
It's a great game.
It's a great game.
You really can't go wrong.
And what's really neat is my wife, because sometimes she'll play like Days Gone. She played that with me. Great game, loved it. She'll play some of those types of games with me, horror, survival, and what have you. She watched her first impression of The Last of Us was the show. The
show is fantastic.
Amazing. It sucked her in. I was like, well, guess what? There's actually 2 games.
I was very nervous for the show.
I went in with zero expectations, even though the cast seemed to be great. I went in with zero expectations because I was like, eh.
So when I'll make this brief because we're running low on time. When I sat down to watch the first episode, they showed Pedro Pascal as Joel, and I was like, all right.
Yep, exactly. All right.
I'm in now. And then they showed Bella Ramsey as Ellie, and I was a little like, I don't know.
Yes.
But as the show progressed, she really nailed the character of Ellie. And I mean, Pedro Pascal, dude. I mean, that guy
is just
killing it.
Killing it, man, in everything he does.
But him as Joel,
it was just
and Nick Offerman as Bill.
The government are all Nazis.
Well, yeah, now, but not then.
Oh my
God, dude!
I love that they fleshed that out in the story for the show. I loved that. That had me so emotional. So unexpected.
They elaborated on that, and like at first glance, when they were like doing the whole, I think it was like 2 episodes just of Bill and his husband's story, and I was like, okay, like, do we really have to? Why do we have to do that?
Do this right now, but then no.
I'm so glad they did.
So glad they did.
It was beautiful.
It was literally beautiful. Like it had Caitlin and I both emotional.
You get to watch just like the Bill, who's like, America.
Yeah, America. Guns.
Yeah,
Yes.
guns, liberty,
Yes.
whiskey, and justice. Like,
yes.
that's Bill, but he's a gay man, and he just like he resists it.
Right.
And
exactly.
when he meets that dude that's just coming into like the town or whatever, and
he's looking to survive,
falls into his trap and stuff like that, and he gives him a meal.
Talk about a relationship.
And he makes that first move on him, and like he's very hesitant. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
and
I didn't see it going that way.
He picked the read right away, and he's like, "Come on, I know."
Yes, I know.
And then you get to watch them just build this beautiful life.
Beautiful life. Like, literally not just a relationship, but a life together. My God.
And then he gets sick, and you get to
we
watch.
won't go into it
Man,
all.
it's
because if you haven't seen it, this makes me want to go and rewatch.
I probably will.
Wait
I'm not gonna lie. I can't wait for. I can't wait for season 2.
Anyway. Oh goodness.
So yeah, play the game, watch the show, do everything that you can with The Last of Us.
Like set time aside so that you don't have to just put it down and then come back to it days later.
Yeah.
Just really allow yourself to become fully immersed and enjoy the experience as a whole.
Yeah, set the time aside, play this until you beat it. Like, just really sink the time in there and just take in everything.
Indulge.
And then just go watch the show, because it is literally like the same exact thing.
Just aside from just a few
crazy.
things. It's amazing. That did really...
So the next episode, Keith, we're diving into the PS4.
Oh, yes.
We're continuing our
journey
our upward journey.
Yes.
And we're going to visit another post-apocalyptic type world.
Okay. Which, by the way, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I literally have no idea.
With some technology advancements.
Okay.
I don't know how you didn't pick up on that.
I
didn't.
But anyway.
Next episode is PS4. It's another fantastic new IP that was just absolutely incredible. Like, comment, subscribe, do the whole thing.
Do the thing. Let us know what you want to see, don't want to see,
what we can improve on.
Absolutely.
Go give us a follow on Instagram. I'll put the link in our YouTube bio, so it'll take you right over there. And until next time.
Until next time.
And the government are all Nazis.
The government are all Nazis!